At the beginning of the movie, we see a nurse named Mila taking care of a cancer patient girl named Tiwi. As Mila starts to leave, Tiwi holds her hand, to which Mila assures her that she will come again tomorrow, and that nurse Inda will accompany her until then. Inda then arrives, and while Mila handles her Tiwi's report, they hear a Kedisai bird, and Inda says it means someone is going to die. Later, as Mila is about to leave for home, she sees Inda rushing into Tiwi's ward. Concerned, she goes there to check and becomes very sad to see that Tiwi has died. Just then, the senior nurse approaches Mila, urgently requesting her assistance at a patient's home. She provides Mila with a bag containing all necessary items, including dosage instructions. Now, when Mila reaches that patient's house, it is already night, and that patient's son, Radit, informs her that her mother has died. She asks him if is there anything she could help, to which he says no. After finding no task to fulfill, Mila begins leaving, but her car breaks down, and despite her efforts to restart the vehicle, it remains stalled. Radit approaches and offers his assistance, successfully restarting the car. But before Mila can depart, Radit requests her help with something. She agrees and returns to his house with him, where he asks if she can bathe the body of his deceased mother, explaining that she isn't his biological mother, so he can't perform the task himself. Radit informs Mila that the rest of the family is currently out of town and will return the next morning for the burial. He then brings a shroud and tells her that his mother had kept it for a long time, intending it to be used when she passed away. She had expressed her wish to be covered with it upon her death. Now, after some time, Mila bathes the dead body of Radit's mother and starts covering it in a shroud. After completing it, she notices that she left her bag upstairs, and when she goes to get it, Radit receives a call from the cemetery. He approaches Mila and asks her if she can wait for him here, as he has to go to take care of the burial administration, so she can be buried tomorrow. Just then, Mila notices a girl upstairs, and Radit informs her that she is his daughter, Novi. After Radit leaves, Mila notices some photos in the house depicting Radit's mother with an elderly man, likely her husband, and as her attention shifts to the deceased body, she observes cotton has fallen out of her nose. Mila finds this a bit strange, but she goes near her and puts the cotton in her nose again. Afterward, she heads to the kitchen to wash her hands. However, she's interrupted by noises emanating from outside. She comes out to check the source of the sounds and discovers that the sounds are coming from Novi's room upstairs. She goes upstairs to Novi's room to check, but doesn't see anyone there, and as she turns to leave, she's startled by the sight of Novi standing at the door. Novi begins to exit the room, prompting Mila to explain that she's the nurse attending to her grandmother's body downstairs. She asks if she wants to accompany her downstairs or just want to be here, to which Novi silently returns to her room without responding. Now, when Mila is coming downstairs, she hears some sound. She checks downstairs to see if Radit has returned. However, she is taken aback when a song starts playing on the gramophone by itself. Surprised, she comes down and shuts it off. And just then, she notices that cotton has fallen out of the corpse's nose once more. And this time, the shroud is also open. Mila, frightened, ties it again, and as she puts the cotton in her nose, she hears a scream from upstairs. Thinking that Novi is in danger, Mila rushes to Novi's room to check on her and realizes that she is hiding under the bed. Novi points her towards a wardrobe from inside where a scratching sound is coming. Mila moves towards it, scared, but when she opens the wardrobe, there is no one there. She goes back to Novi and asks her to come out, but as she pulls her out, Novi begins to struggle to breathe. Acting swiftly, Mila locates Novi's asthma pump and administers it, restoring Novi's breathing to normal. Mila then settles Novi back onto the bed and lies down with her to accompany her. After some time, as Mila goes downstairs to the kitchen for water, she hears the unsettling sounds once more, and as she leaves to check, we see a Pocong standing outside the window. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Mila begins to head upstairs, gripped by fear. However, her attention is drawn to a figure standing behind the curtain. She moves forward to check, but finds no one there, but an eerie sound from behind unsettle her. Confused and frightened, she remains unaware of the Pocong's presence behind her once again. And as she moves forward, Novi bumps into her, startling Mila awake from her nightmare. And she notices that Novi is not in bed, She searches for her and is shocked to see her running down the stairs. Mila rushes downstairs after her and finds her running outside the house. And when she goes out to look for her, she is terrified to see her on the rooftop. Mila hurries upstairs and manages to save her, and when she brings her back downstairs, the phone in the house begins to ring. Mila answers the phone, and Radit informs her that he's still on his way, so she can leave if she wants. Mila replies that she can't leave because of the strange occurrences in the house. However, when Radit mentions that Navi is used to these events, Mila is taken aback. She goes back to Mila and notices that she is cold, so she brings her to the kitchen and gives her tea to keep her body warm. And as she questions Navi about how she ended up upstairs, their conversation is interrupted by another noise. Turning to Navi, she inquires if she's ever heard such a sound before, but Navi stays silent. Mila comes out scared and starts moving towards the door from behind which the noise is coming. But before she can open it, Navi stops her, gripping her hand. Navi experiences another asthma attack, so Mila makes her sit there and rushes to her room to fetch her inhaler. But as she begins to go back, she's startled to see Pocong in the mirror behind her. But when she turns, she finds no one there. However, the Pocong haunts her, and as she attempts to flee, the door slams shut. Mila screams for help, but when she looks back, she finds herself alone. And suddenly, the door opens on its own. Filled with terror, Mila descends the stairs only to discover that Radit's mother's corpse is missing. Panicked, she attempts to flee the house with Novi, but as she tries to start the car, she sees Pocong in front of her, and suddenly Navi disappears from the car. She then witnesses an unseen force lifting Novi into the air, and before Mila can reach her, the force pulls Novi back into the house. Mila rushes back to the house in search of Novi, and while looking for her, she enters Radit's mother's room, where the lights suddenly go out, and a chair begins to swing on its own. And before Mila can comprehend what's happening, a Pocong figure falls in front of her, causing her to flee in terror. Mila hurriedly makes her way to Navi's room, only to find her in a possessed state. Navi discloses that she is the true inhabitant of the house and is seeking a body for her soul. Mila watches in horror as Navi climbs the wall before lunging at her to attack, but Mila manages to dodge just in time. Navi then employs her powers to knock Mila down and throws her to the floor after lifting her up. As Novi advances towards her, Mila manages to escape the room and lock the door, and the house fills with Novi's screams. After a while, when the chaos subsides, Mila cautiously re-enters the room in search of Novi, where she discovers a torch. The wardrobe door then ominously swings open, and Mila spots a cloth near her feet. She grabs it, only to realize it's emanating from inside the wardrobe. As she begins to pull it, the cloth gets stuck, and suddenly demonic hands drag her toward the wardrobe. Mila hears the demonic voice again and gets terrified to see the Pocong there, prompting her to flee in terror. However, she trips and falls down the stairs. With trembling hands, Mila manages to grab the torch, only to find it malfunctioning, and in her moment of distress, she notices the Pocong standing directly in front of her. She gets terrified seeing it, but then realizes it has vanished from there. Mila attempts to leave the house, only to find that the doors are locked. Exhausted and overwhelmed, she sinks to the floor and begins crying in frustration. However, her distress deepens as she begins to hear the ominous thumping sounds once more. Desperate to find Novi, Mila begins searching the house, but suddenly, the door to the secret room opens on its own, adding another layer of mystery to the already eerie atmosphere. She enters the room and gets stunned to find her own photos inside a mysterious box, and her shock intensifies as she uncovers photos of Radit's deceased body among them. And before she can understand anything, Radit comes there. Navi then also enters the room, startling Mila, who is shocked to see Radit's mother there. Following her to her room, Mila discovers another girl already present, alongside an elderly man lying lifeless on the bed. Radit's mother addresses Novi, explaining they must find a body for his soul within 3 days, or he will perish forever. Radit interrupts, revealing that his wife Sulastri found a young man named Radit, allowing his soul to inhabit the new body, freeing him from death. He says he is not Radit, but Sutisna, and now it's time to rescue his wife. Mila understands that Sulastri has selected her soul as her own. Frantically, she attempts to flee, only to discover the door locked. Desperately, she screams for help, trying to force the door open, and as Sutisna advances towards her, Mila asks why she's been chosen, to which he responds, because it has to be her. In a desperate attempt to escape, Mila seeks refuge in the attic. However, faced with a dead end and no way out, she ultimately decides to jump out of the window in a bid for freedom. She successfully flees the house, only to be knocked down by Sutisna outside. In the next scene, Sutisna has Mila lying beside Sulastri's lifeless body as he conducts a ritual to exchange their souls. After some time, Mila awakens, but in truth, it is Sulastri inhabiting Mila's body. Following this eerie transformation, they proceed to bury Mila's now deceased body, and the scene cuts here. The following day, Novi expresses her discontent to Sulastri, stating that she dislikes her current body and desires an adult body like her. Sulastri reassures Novi not to be upset, promising that the desired body will soon arrive and she will like it. Suddenly, a knock interrupts their conversation, and when Novi answers the door, we see Inda standing there, who asks her, "Did Mila come here last night?" With a smile, Novi looks at her, and the movie ends here. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.